6th, which was hands down one of the wildest days on Wall Street. I'm going to show you how to nail the absolute bottom in this market, in your market, really in any market. And I'm going to show you how to do that with nothing more than trend lines. So let's go ahead and fire this up. All right, what's up, guys? It's Mark here at Dino Trading. Crazy week on Wall Street. I still don't think people fully comprehend and can appreciate even the types of moves you're seeing in the market. All markets, Forex, futures, stocks, everything is going through the roof. Everything is collapsing. Everything is going completely bonkers. And, as a day trader, you just have to appreciate it, right? You know that on volatile days, the market's going to trend heavily, and you kind of got to latch on to that trend and milk it all the way, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you clear and targeted entries and really how to be precise with your trading. I think of this, I compare this to being a surgeon. You got to take a laser-like focus to your trading, and it doesn't take a lot of entries, right? I'm going to show you how to cap your trades at like 1 to 2 trades a day. 1 or 2 signals a day is all you need to make a fortune in these markets. All right. So what you're looking at on the screen is a 5-minute bullshit chart, what I call a candlestick chart with indicators on it. Can't make out heads or tails of what's happening from this session, right? Friday, October 26th, which for me was one of the best sessions ever. Okay. So what do? For you trend traders out there, you know what comes next, right? With one click of your mouse, you take this chart right here and you make it look like this, right? The Dino Bars trend filter is the most powerful piece of trading software you can put on your computer, right? It's the most powerful piece of software, I think, ever. Right? That can truly transform anyone's trading. I mean, if you look at this chart right here and you contrast that chart with this one, which one do you think makes more sense? Right? Where are the signals? Right? There aren't any. This chart is a complete pile of horseshit, and only retail traders trade off of candlestick charts. Never professional traders. Anyway, let's flip it back to the Dino Bars chart and take a look. I promised you a simplistic, no-brainer way to nail the bottom in any market using nothing more than trend lines. And I'm going to show that to you right now in less than 2 minutes. You're going to see the power of trend lines, and best of all, you're going to see how fantastic your trading is going to become when you remove all indicators, all candlesticks, and all bullshit junk, right? You want nothing more than clean price action charts, all right? So first thing we got to do is we got to go to the split screen just like this, right? So in case you guys have never seen the split screen before, I'm going to try to make this easy for you. This Dino bar here on the left, what I call the signal bar to go long, to start looking for longs, I have physically drawn that in our T-bar chart on the right. I'll put another arrow right there. Okay? So again, this Dino bar right here, the signal bar to go long, has been drawn into the T-bar chart, which is the chart that you physically draw your trend lines on and take your entries. Okay? So far, so good. So let's go ahead and minimize the Dino Bars chart, and let's go ahead and maximize the T-bar chart. Okay? Just like this. Now, what we want to do is we want to zoom in as much as we can and try to capture these levels. So you guys know my methods, right? We want to wait for price to come back in to the high and the low of this Dino signal bar. These are extremely critical levels, this high and this low. All right, so far so good. Anything in between that, let's go ahead and extend it out some more. Anything in between what I call this area is where you have to be looking for longs, period. Okay, so let's go ahead and stretch this out as much as we can and keep going here. Let's go ahead and fire this up. So now, how do we draw trend lines? Well, that's simple. We want to connect pivots, but not just any pivots, right? We want to connect rising pivots only, because what does rising mean? Rising pivots means that a potential uptrend has now started, and now it's okay to go long, right? So I'm going to draw a whole bunch of pivots, and then I'm going to show you how to capture only the rising ones, all right? So as an example, here's a pivot up here, here's a pivot here, 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 and here. Okay. So guys, when you're looking at this chart, can you spot any rising pivots? I'm going to try to give you a hint. A rising pivots looks like a sequence of dots that looks like this, where this one here is higher than the one to the left of it, right? All we're doing is we're looking for a sequence of dot that matches up exactly like this. Can you see it on the chart? All right, I hope you're able to manage that. Here's that same sequence, okay? So we've now identified our rising pivot. So all we do is we connect it and draw the trend line. Just like that, you are done, okay? Now if we comb through here, you can see this trade actually got filled somewhere in that area. I think I got filled at like 68.19 from what I remember, give or take, right? And you put your stop right over here. Okay. That's it. You're in the trade. And you can see here, you basically got 20 points on the NQ real quick. Within 5 minutes, you are up 20 points. So what do? You always sell half your position and play with house money. Never, ever forget to do that, because you don't know if the market's going to reverse and stop you out. Nobody likes getting their stops hit, right? So what happens on this market? You can see price kept falling and it stopped me right out. Guess why it didn't bother me even one bit? Because I didn't lose any money. And you guys, none of you guys should be losing any money if you're playing with house money and you always sell half your position, right? So let's go to our scoreboard. All right, you always want to keep some kind of scoreboard where you track your trades. You saw me take trade number 1, right? We put our stop in, but realistically, that entire trade was 0 risk. Why? Because we sold half our position when we were up, equal to or more than the amount of your stop, right? So trade number 1, what were the results? We got stopped out with no loss. And we are still looking for longs. Why? Because we are still inside the area, right? We are still within the length of this dino bar, right? When that trade got stopped out, we were somewhere in this area right there, okay? So far, so good. So let's go ahead and clean up this chart and look for trade number 2, just like this, and keep looking for longs. All right. So do you guys remember from 5 minutes ago, what's our process for looking for longs, right? 2-step process. Identify your pivots, draw your trend line. That's it. Okay. So follow along with me as I try to identify some of these pivots. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Let's keep going. Pivot, 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 pivot. Okay. So far, so good. Simple, right? You guys can draw pivots in less than half a second, right? Should not take you longer than that. okay? But here's the critical part. Now you got to successfully draw your trend line. Again, folks, find me a sequence of dots that looks like this, okay? Give you a couple of seconds. All right, hope you're able to manage that. I'm seeing a sequence of dot. There's one. There's the second. Let's put those a little bit closer. There you go. Right? You are done. You've identified your rising pivot. Prices are now in a confirmed uptrend. We want to draw our trend line and we want to look for longs. We want to go long on a break of the trend line to the upside. Let's go ahead and draw that trend line just like that. Okay? So if we comb this forward, you can see the trend line broke right over there, and the fill took place in this section right here. Call it around 6,800 on the NQ, okay, roughly. All right. Now let's see what happened on this trade. If we spin this forward, this is what happened on this trade, right? So if we go back to the dyno bar, okay, let's maximize the dyno bar chart. Everything I just showed you on the T-bar chart, we got in right in this section over here on the dyno bars chart. Nailing the absolute bottom of this market with no questions, right? And this thing ripped for 250 points straight up in one direction, representing little over $25,000 on a lousy 100 shares, right? And you saw me take those trades on the T-bar chart where we only had 2 trades, right? So if we go back to our scoreboard, remember the scoreboard tracking your trades, here's trade number 2, right over here. Again, same story. We took 0 risk. When the trend line broke to the upside, we got a couple of bars in our favor, so we used that to take half of our position off the table, getting to 0 risk. This is really fucking important, folks, getting to 0 risk, and that ran for a potential $25,000 winner one day, Friday, October 26th, just in the morning session, right? On your scoreboard, you took a total of 2 trades the entire session. Trade number 1, you got stopped out, no loss. Trade number 2, massive winner. All right. So if we go back to our dyno bars chart, what I call the big picture chart, I want you guys to remember this phrase as you continue with your trading journey, as you try to master trading, whether you sign up for dyno bars to make your trading easy, or if you keep practicing on your own, doesn't matter. Whatever you do, always remember this phrase, okay? And that is, always trade for huge gains. Try to hit a home run every single trade. You don't have a crystal ball, right? You don't know when a massive trade is going to happen, right? Those 2 examples we looked at on the T-bars, you don't know if you're going to get stopped out on trade number 1 and then have trade number 2 be your moneymaker, right? That's why every single time you take a trade, always shoot for huge gains. That's the only way you are ever going to make money long term as a professional day trader, right? Retail traders aren't trading this type of chart, right? Retail traders are trading this type of bullshit chart, and they wonder why they can't figure out their heads from their asses, right? When you focus on the big picture and trading for huge gains, this is going to result in 100% of your trading income for your entire career. All right? Keep your eyes open for more massive volatility in the market. Volatility is here to stay. It's not going away. There's going to be huge moves every single day from now on. So folks, thanks for watching this video, and as always, best trading wishes.